The United States Federal Reserve Bank is dead broke. Here's the reason why and how to fix it. The Federal Reserve has a problem. It's paying out more money in interest than it's getting back. Central banks, especially the one called the Federal Reserve, or the Fed for short, have always been important in helping the economy. They handle money policy, lend money when needed, and watch over the financial system. They can change things like interest rates to help the economy. But lately, the Fed has had a new problem. When they increased interest rates to fight rising prices, they ended up in a spot where they paid more money out than they got back from their investments. And this hasn't happened in the past before. Even though the Fed doesn't have to make money like a regular business, losing money for a long time could be a problem. Here's why they're having money troubles. In 2021, interest rates went up fast. This meant that they had to pay more money, but a lot of their investments are locked in at lower rates from the past, so they're not earning as much as they're paying. The Fed uses something called deferred assets. Think of these as IOUs. If IOUs grow too much, the Fed might owe more than it has. In the past, the Federal Reserve gave a lot of money to the US government. From 2011 to 2022, they gave about $1 trillion. But now they've stopped because they don't have enough money. This means that the US government isn't getting as much money as they were expected to. The safety net of funds at the Fed is getting smaller, and soon it might mostly just have these IOUs, which are real money. And this is a problem similar to the one in 1934 when the Fed had to use gold certificates to show that it had enough money. So the whole money system is managed by the Feds. And if the Feds run out of real money, it could mean really bad things for everyone. The US government might lose a lot of money each year, and this means even more national debt. People might start asking more questions about the Fed's money decision. And as time goes on, there might be bigger money problems, like more debt, higher interest rates, and more money being made. In short, the Fed has problems, just like other banks. So with the country already $33 trillion in debt, why keep owing them money? Own Bitcoin, because Satoshi gave us money that is not debt. All in all, the Fed is a Ponzi scheme that prints money out of thin air and loans it to us with interest. And now they're broke because of inflation. Bitcoin fixes this by allowing us to store our valuable time in a hard asset that can't be manipulated by central banks or governments. Don't miss Lyn Alden Backstage.
All right, first I want to know, what would be your key advice to people that want to invest in Bitcoin but haven't yet?
I think learn. You shouldn't buy things that you don't understand at all. So I say, you know what? Take a week and really go down the rabbit hole, read a couple books, and really understand how it works. And I think the more someone learns, obviously the more likely they are to want to own some.
And there's also one thing for the bear market. What is some key advice?
So I think one thing is manage your position size honestly. So for example, if you only buy Bitcoin that you understand could fall 80% and can go through these wild gyrations, if that is enough to either make you not sleep at night or to disrupt your family finances, you're too big of a position, right? And if Bitcoin is as successful as a lot of us think it will be, you don't need to have everything in Bitcoin in order to do very well. You need basically to have a position that makes sense for you. And then number two is I think dollar cost averaging. On one hand, if you run numbers on any sort of like appreciating asset like Bitcoin, usually lump sum mathematically beats dollar cost averaging because you get in earlier. But in practice, a lot of lump sums happen towards peaks. People buy in when it's doing well. Whereas I think the mentality you get of being able to buy a little bit every day or every week. So when Bitcoin's having a really bad time, you're at least giving yourself some solace that you're picking up some cheap sats.
That is very true. And I wanted to jump on that success that you predict Bitcoin will have. What do you think it would be?
Each cycle gives us more insight into what the future is going to come. When Bitcoin was $10, if people said this will be, $50,000 one day, it would sound silly. Whereas now when it's, it's 20-some thousand dollars, it's been as high as $9,000. If you talk about $1 million Bitcoin, it can sound silly, but it's really not when you look at total market capitalization and things like that. So I like to say things one step away, but basically I think that this is the best money that humans have. And I think the total addressable market of money is extraordinarily big. I mean, we're talking tens of trillions of dollars at least. And I think Bitcoin is going to get a very meaningful percentage of that. We have to think globally when you think about this question. So in the United States, we have the dollar. We have a lot of other assets we're happy to monetize, S&P 500, high quality property, things like that. But when you look around the world, capital portability is a bigger thing, right? So a lot of us don't think we were going to leave the US. What if we want to bring our money with us? But if you're in Lebanon, it's a small country, it's going through a currency crisis. If you saved in real estate or gold, and there's some sort of issue that you want to be able to leave in any one of these countries, you're going to have a harder time. Whereas if you have a percentage of what you stored in self-custodial Bitcoin, you've kind of like made the initial investment to now have this portable wealth that you can bring with you anywhere. Who wouldn't want to have that optionality?
Quick recap of the week. Cathie Wood said that the SEC, the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission, may approve multiple spot Bitcoin ETFs at the same time. And according to a BlackRock insider, the Bitcoin spot ETF is expected to be approved in the next 4 to 6 months. That means like next year. Another Bitcoin victory is in El Salvador because Binance becomes the second fully licensed cryptocurrency in the country, all following Bitfinex on April 11th. Officially, El Salvador now has 11 fully licensed digital asset service providers operating under their digital assets law. Coinbase officially launches Base blockchain. No, it's not a token. It's the new Base network built technically in the second layer, or layer 2 blockchain on top of the Ethereum blockchain. Base is committed to decentralization, so let's hope that remains true. Though with Bitcoin, do we really need Base? In the meantime, PayPal introduces a US dollar stablecoin, officially known as PayPal USD. It is designed to offer payments and is 100% backed by the US dollar deposits, short-term US treasuries, and similar cash equivalents. The coin is redeemable 1-to-1 for US dollars and is issued by Paxos Trust Company. And Americans reach a new record, with their credit card debts hitting an all-time high of $1 trillion. Yeah, you heard it right. Looks like we might have a chance to beat the nation's whooping $32.6 trillion debt. And remember, keep building that Bitcoin stack.